Guys, welcome to part 6 of the building our Unity game similar to Mario with Gemini series. It's an awful introduction. So let's just pick up exactly where we left off. So we have in the last video, we created these gold coins, our spike trap, and our scoring system. So, and they've all been working exactly as expected. So now let's just pick things back up. So I think we're gonna flesh out the level design first and then move on to our polishing. But let's ask Gemini what it would do. You know what? Let's just get level 1 completed and then move on to hair polish. What's your opinion? Instead of saying let's just, I'm gonna ask, should we get level 1 completed? What's your opinion? Again, strongly recommends getting level 1 completed. So here's why we need to design our standard movement. Designing for standard movement is easier. Right now, your player has a single predictable jump height and run speed. It gets much easier to design platform gaps, place coins, and time enemy patrol paths around these fixed constraints. If you add a double jump now, you suddenly have to make every single gap twice as wide and vertical spaces twice as high just to keep the game challenging. You establish a baseline feel, so building level 1 with your current mechanics gives you a baseline of how fun the game is at its simplest. If the level layout feels great to navigate with just a basic jump, adding a double jump or animations later will feel like a massive upgrade. The psychology of completion. Having a fully finished playable level 1 at a beginning with a beginning, middle obstacles and a working exit portal is a massive milestone. Gives you a complete game loop that you can actually play test on your screen from start to finish. So let's build out level 1. To start, we'll need to expand your platforms, open your tile palette window, select your ground brush, and let's start painting some new platforms. Do you want to build a straightforward path that teaches the player the basics, or do you want to design a branching path with high risk, high reward route for extra coins? Straightforward path that teaches the player the basics is what I want to go with for level 1. So let's go with a straightforward path. Okay, so that is the perfect way to introduce the game. I mean, no matter what you suggest, Gemini always tends to agree. So spawn platform, gap, spike platform, gap, patrol enemy platform, and then finally the goal platform. Okay. Paint the GS, so let's follow steps 1, 2, and 3. So step 1 is going to be paint the geometry tile map. Select your grid tile map object in the hierarchy. Grid, and then tile map. And paint 4 distinct platform sections. So the spawn platform. Make this a long, flat platform about 8 to 10 tiles wide on the far left. your player starts here. It gives them space to get used to the mobile left, right buttons without any danger. So we'll go ahead and do exactly that. Let's get rid of our enemy from here. Get rid of the gold coin there. And we're going to have about 8 to 10 tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right around here. We're going to delete some of these tiles out. And maybe even move our enemies away. So just for now. Okay, so this is our starting position. So now we're gonna have the second portion of uh the 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 level, which is gonna be the spike platform. So paint a smaller platform 4 to 5 tiles wide, separated from the spawn platform by a small gap. So 2 tiles wide. We're gonna have this gap there. And the patrol platform, the spike platform. So we're gonna have about, just get these out of the way. And this platform is gonna be about 4 to 5 tiles wide. So let's delete some tiles. Let's have 5. So get rid of these ones. And let's make the gap. Um, two is probably fine for now. Whole platform. So paint a longer, completely flat platform, 8 to 10 tiles wide, separated by another 2 tile gap. So I'll just for the fun of it do 3 tile gap, and then we got about 10. So right around there should be fine. This is the patrol platform. And then we're gonna do the goal platform at the far right. So paint one final platform. You can make this one slightly higher up to force a precise final jump. So since our player jumps pretty high, I'll do right around there maybe. Is that too high? It might be a bit too high. Let's do one tile down, maybe right around there. And this is our goal platform. We got our 4 platforms. So now let's move on to step 2. Drag and drop our prefabs. So first things first, move the player. Drag your player object to the far left edge of the spawn platform. So here's our player. We're gonna move the player to the spawn platform right around here, maybe. Far left edge of the spawn platform. Okay. Place the spike. Drag a spike trap prefab, so this one. And let's place it in the middle of this bike platform, right around there. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to change the color to grayish, maybe. So, there's a trap there. And now place the enemy. So we're gonna need some boundary walls for that section of it. And we're gonna drag our enemy to this platform right here. And we're gonna make sure the child wall check object on the enemy's position correctly so it detects the edges of the platform and turns around before falling off. Cool. And last, step 4, or part 4 from step 2, place the coins. Place one floating over the gap between the spawn and spike platform. So let's place one of these coins right around here. Place two floating high above the patrol enemy. So place two right around here, maybe, and here. And place the goal, drag your level goal to the goal platform right there. And now the problem we're going to run into, if you guys figured it out, is that the camera's not going to move when the player moves. So we're going to go off the screen. So we got to fix that. And so yeah, step 3 is play test your level. We can cleanly clear, but we cannot see the enemy, and we cannot see the coins are not guiding us naturally toward the goal. So steps 1 and 2 are complete. However, the camera does not follow the player to the end of the level. And I guess what we need to do here is, where is our camera? Right there, right? So camera bounds, I think. I think we need to expand our camera bounds to the edges of the level to fix this issue. Do I need to expand the camera bounds objects boundaries to the end of the level? Yep. So select the camera bounds, look at the polygon collider 2D, click the edit collider, and we get to grab the edges, stretch them out to the far right of your new goal platform. So, and then press play, test it out. So back to Unity, we're going to select the camera bounds object, and we're going to click on edit collider and start grabbing these edges to the edges of the level. It doesn't have to be perfect, so as good as you can make it. For me, I think this is good enough. And let's test it out. I just hate when things are not when things are not as perfect as I want it to be. But yeah, this should do the trick. So let's try this now. Yay! Camera moves as expected, but I still think the player jumps way too high, so we gotta fix that. Right, and we move on to level 2. Yeah, so this is working pretty well. So the thing I want to fix is that the player is jumping too high. So let's see if we can figure out how to change it ourselves. Player controller jump force is 12. We're gonna click it. We selected the player, and I think I'm gonna change the jump force to something lower than 12. So should we do it here and test it out? Let's do 8 maybe. Yeah, much better jump here now. It's not going crazy, but it's not going to be able to reach those coins. Maybe 10. Let's try 10 instead of 12. Or instead of 8. Jump force should be, let's do 10. And try one more time. All right. I like this. I like this a decent amount. Maybe try 9, you know, just for the just for the hell of it and see if this feels a little bit better. Yeah, I do like 9 better than 10. So let's stick with 9 and just want to see if the 10 is hard 12 is hard coded here. I think I'm going to change this to 9. Save our script. Wait for it to compile. Yeah, so what I did was I selected the player controller script, and inside the script I changed the jump force value from 12F to 9F. So our script by default now has the player jump force set to 9. And I think we should be okay for now. So let's go back to Gemini. How's I think our enemy is behaving normally as expected. So just want to check. Yeah. Yeah, looks good. Cool. Cool. Tracking works perfectly. Steps 1 through 3 are now complete. I also adjusted the jump force variable in our player controller script from 12F to 9F because that felt better. Um, okay, so all done. Okay. With Lovable fully built, your camera tracking updated, and your physics dialed in, you officially completed your first end-to-end playable level. Woohoo! Now we're in the perfect position to tackle option 3, finally, the long-awaited player polish. Since we have our baseline movement finalized, what would you like to start with? Adding a double jump So it gives our player a mid-air jump. We'll need to update the script to track jump counts. Or B, character sprite integration, replacing the white capsule. And this is what I'm going to go with first. So let's start with B. This time, not asking Gemini for its opinion. We're going to go straight into our character sprite integration. So yeah, let's go with that. So, replacing the capsule with a real character sprite is the moment your game truly starts to look like a game. To do this, we need to take a sprite sheet, a single image containing several frames of animation, slice it up inside Unity, and apply it to our player. Here's how to slice and prepare your first character sprite sheet. So, step one would be get a character sprite sheet. If you don't have a custom spreadsheet ready yet, we can use a standard layout. Here's a typical 2D platformer character sheet layout. And this is what it auto-generated for us. I don't like the way don't like the way the character looks, so we're gonna modify. Find or download a 2D character spreadsheet. If you're looking for a free one, sites like itch.io or Unity Asset Store have thousands under 2D pixel art character. Drag the spreadsheet image file into your project window. Inside your assets folder, you might want to create a folder named art or sprite. So let's try to find some free 2D pixel art characters and pick one that we like. So all right, so we go to the Unity assets store. So assetstore.unity.com, and I found one that I like. So if you go into 2D free, how did I find it? Let me just Unity Asset Store 2D pixel art character. So 2D free assets, and then just pick one you like. Uh, Simple 2D platformer. This looks promising. Free platform game assets. And then I found one also. Where did I put it? Add to my assets. So yeah, just go into the assets you like and find one that you like so you can see what the content of the assets are. So this one looks pretty good. And let's go to my assets. I'll show you the other one that I found. Pixel Adventure 1. So I think I'll go with this one. This looks pretty good. So yeah, I'll go with this one for now. So okay, drag the sprite sheet file, image file into your project window. So this guy, open in Unity. Just want to make sure open in Unity is probably what I want to click on. And we're gonna put it inside your assets folder. You might want to create a folder named art or sprites. So pixel adventure. Yeah, let's download it and import to our project. That's a lot of assets. I don't really need. Hmm, probably don't need most of these things other than the player. But main characters, others, terrain, traps. This gives. So I don't need the scene, I don't think. Let me just add a screenshot and ask Unity what I should be importing. So I picked this character, this asset from the Unity store, and then add the link. Um, I opened the item in Unity and downloaded the asset. What should I? What the hell's going on? Okay, I must have hit something on accident, so I have to type the whole thing again. Picked this asset from the Unity store. I clicked open in Unity, then downloaded the asset. Asset. And now, so let's ask, am I on the right track? And if so, am I on the right track? And if so, which item should I be importing? Classic choice for 2D platformer. Okay. Check none. None. And then we're gonna expand the folders and we're gonna click. We're gonna get the main characters and we're gonna leave unchecked all the other items. So just the main characters and we're gonna leave the other items. So import. And that should be good. So now we have this Pixel Adventures folder here. Might want to rename it. So Let's rename it to art. I'll move this here. So should we just leave? Nah, I think I'll rename this to art. Instead of Pixel Adventures, I got art, and cut the main characters and just paste it in here. Delete the assets folder. Just to keep our project clean. So we created a new folder, art, and inside which we have our main characters. And so now let's move on to step 2. Click on your imported spreadsheet. Project window. Okay, so we'll just, since we don't have like a giant image of a character, and instead we picked an asset from the store, we'll just continue working from here. So let's grab a screenshot. I've imported the main characters, and renamed some folders. Fix, reorganized the items a bit. So now we have 4 distinct heroes to choose from. All 4 characters in the package. Share the exact same frame dimensions. Let's select one, set up its import settings, and slice it. So step 1 would be to choose your character and set the idle sheet. And we're gonna follow these steps. So open the folder of the character you want to play as. Did we go with, I like this character. So I'll go with Mask Dude. Inside, you'll see several separate sprite sheets for different actions. So we got idle, we got run, we got jump, we got wall jump, we got fall, we got hit, and double jump. So with that idle spreadsheet selected, sprite sheet selected, let's configure the exact import settings for this specific asset style in the inspector. So sprite mode, change from single to multiple. So multiple is already selected. Pixels per unit, change this to 32. Pixels per unit is 32. Filter mode, change from bilinear to point. Filter mode, already set to point. And this keeps the pixel art looking crisp and sharp instead of blurry. Compression, change to none. Compression is already set to none. And click apply at the bottom of the inspector. Done. All good. Now, step 3, slice the grid. Click the Sprite Editor button in the inspector. Sprite Editor. Open Sprite Editor, I'm assuming. Okay. In the Sprite Editor window, click the Slice drop-down menu at the top and change the slice type from automatic to grid by cell size. Grid by cell size. Set pixel size to X is 32 and Y is also 32. Click the Slice button. You should see thin bounding box clearly segmenting. Each frame of your character's idle animation. So slice, already done. And click apply on the top right corner of the editor. Apply. All done there. And then close the window. Now step 4, apply the sprite to your player. So in the project window, click the tiny arrow next to your slice title spreadsheet project. Okay, let's in the project window, click the tiny arrow next to the slice spreadsheet to expand it. Okay, so this button right there, and we see the individual sliced frame sub assets. So select our player in the hierarchy and drag the very first frame of the slice sheet, usually frame 0. Yeah, frame 0 right there. And drop it directly into the sprite slot if you're of your sprite. Drop it directly into the sprite slot of your player's sprite renderer component. So player sprite renderer right here. Sprite slot. So where's the sprite slot? Right there. We got capsule. And we're going to drag this to here. Okay. And let's see if our sprite is not visible instead of our capsule. So I think it is, and like play just to test it out. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That is pretty epic, if you ask me. Now, cool. So a bunch of things to fix still, but we got our player sprite in there. So steps 1 through 4 is now done. Just quickly going through what the earlier steps were and where we are. Okay, so we've done this part. And adjust the controller because your new character sprite likely has a different shape than the original vertical capsule. Your collisions might look a bit floaty or clipped, so we gotta fix that. Yeah, it is floaty, definitely. So let's follow these steps. Select the player. Look at your capsule collider 2D or box collider. So we got the capsule collider 2D. Click the Edit Collider button. And adjust the green boundary lines in the scene view so they wrap snugly around your new character sprite's feet and torso. So we are going to fit this right around. Right around our player. Should have probably done a square instead of a capsule, to be honest, because of the extra edges right there. So, but anyway, let's give this a shot. See what happens. Yep, looks good. So just to test. Okay, I think it's good enough. Jump doesn't work if I'm already moving. So it just stops if you try to jump while moving. So that's another thing to fix later. All right, so let's go back to Gemini. Just the collider. I picked mask dude. I have also completed step 5. Just the collider. Player now runs and jumps as the brand new character sprite. So now we need to bring Mask Dude to life with animations, idle, running, jumping, and falling. And to do this, we will use Unity's animation and animator systems. So let's follow these steps. All right. So step 1 is set up an animations folder. So go back to your assets folder and create a new folder. Name it animations. Right. The animations is so Unity has a brilliant shortcut to create animations directly from sliced sprite sheet. Open your assets, art, main character, mask dude folder, and what I'm gonna do, I don't really like spaces in between in my folder, so I'm just gonna do some renaming here. And get rid of the spaces. Let's just keep them as is. Okay, mask dude folder. Everything has spaces in here, so I don't know if I should just leave them as is. Whatever. So expand the idle sprite sheet Okay. Select select all. So we're gonna click the first one, first frame, and hold shift and click the last one so all the frames are selected, and drag and drop the entire section directly onto your player object in the hierarchy. Player object. We're gonna drag and drop the whole thing. Did that work? Drag and drop this entire selection directly onto your player object in the hierarchy. Let's try that one more time. So idle, click this, click that, and then drag and drop onto the player object. And it looks like it opened up my project folder inside Mask Dude. Navigate to our animations folder. So this guy, and we will name this file mask dude underscore idle and save. And look at that, this guy's already animated now. The run animation, so moving on. Before dragging the run frames, we need to slice the running spreadsheet just like we did for this idle sheet. So select the run spreadsheet in your MassDude folder. Selected, inspector, configure it exactly like the idle sheet. So let's go back to what we did. So if you remember the steps, the sprite mode should be multiple. Pixels per unit should be 32. Filter mode should be bilinear. The point should be point, no filter. So it's already selected. Compression is set to none. And click apply. All set there. Now we're gonna slice it. So in the sprite editor button, sprite editor, open sprite editor. Click the slice drop down at the top. Why can we? Oh, okay. We are playing. That's why. Doesn't. So did the sprite save? Did the animated sprite save? Oh, it did not. Gotta redo it again because we were in play mode. Okay, so let's go back just a little bit. We're gonna do this portion again. So hopefully our animations has the mask dude, and all we got to do is, you know what? Do I where exactly do we wanna pick up from? I hate when I do something and then I have to redo it, but you know what? It is what it is. I'll just delete these two items from inside the animations folder. Go back to the art, main character, mask dude, idle. Make sure everything's as expected. Yep, everything's sliced and diced and ready. So expand on it, click on the frames, and drag and drop the entire selection onto the player. And now go back to animations, and we're going to save this as mask dude underscore idle and click save. All right, and now if we hit play, our character is now animated. And look at the sprite changing as we circle through all the frames, and it gets animated. Okay, so now let's move on to the running sprite sheet. So yeah, make sure the game is not running because we're gonna lose our progress again. Run animation. So in the run sprite sheet, we gonna configure it exactly like the idle sheet. So pixels per unit should be 32. The rest of the settings you already know. Open the sprite editor. And is it already? It looks like it's already done, right? Okay, so select grid cells, pixel size, select grid by, cell size, and pixel size should be 32 by 32. Click slice, and slice, slice. I think it's already done. That's why we don't see an apply button. Or where is the, oh, there we go. All done and all set. So once sliced, expand the run sheet in the project window. Unapplied change is what is unapplied. Apply, close. Okay, so now let's go to the run window, run sheet, and we're gonna drag them into our player. So again, select the first one, hold shift, and select the last one. You drag them to your player. And go back to animations, mask dude, and it's gonna be mask dude underscore run, and save it. Right. And now open step 3. So follow these steps and let's follow along. This is probably going to be the last thing we're going to do on this video because we're already at nearly an hour. So, hey, so when you drag those sprites onto the player, Unity automatically created two things in your project: the individual.anim clips and which hold the frame data, and a player.controller asset. So this guy, this is the animated controller brain that decides when to play which clip. So let's look at this controller. Go to your animations folder. You should see an asset named player with a split box icon right there. And double click to open the animator window. No. So let's open it. And inside, you'll see a flowchart with the gray orange boxes representing your states. So mask dude idle and mask dude run. Right now, because you created an idle first, it should have an orange highlight. Yes, it does. And this means when the game starts, mask dude will default to playing his idle breathing animation. Press play and look at the game. Mask dude should be breathing dynamically on the platform. So yes, we've already validated that. So let's go back and just to confirm, yes, our player is breathing and the game is working exactly as expected. Why is my spacebar not? Why is the jump no longer working? So we got another bug right now. The jump stopped working, and I assume it has something to do with us opening the or creating the jump animation. So we'll fix that in the next one, and that's it for this one. So see you in the next one.